back to France and Futuroscope, where indeed we spent all of yesterday with the prologue time trial. Today we remain based here for 2 stages of the race, a road race this morning and a team time trial for the 22 teams this afternoon. But more of that in a few minutes. Let's first of all talk about that prologue yesterday. Greg LeMond, the defending champion, no form all year, pops up with a fine second place and is now just 4 seconds off the race lead. LeMond turned up yesterday with yet another pair of innovative handlebars, and who knows, they may have helped him score that fine ride. But the winner yesterday was Thierry Marie of France, no stranger to the prologue victory in the first yellow jersey, because he won this race back in 1986. And then remember that Greg LeMond went on to win the Tour de France that year. Well, our tip didn't do too badly either, did he? Raul Alcala of Mexico, he led for quite a long way and finally finished in 3rd place overall. Now, Raul Alcala is going to have a good Tour de France. But let's have a look now back at the season so far. The World Cup races, the other big tours, you'll notice 1 or 2 top names are missing from the results, and names like Alcala are already in them. This season, competition has been more intense than ever. And in the first race of the year, Paris-Nice, Miguel Indurain repeated his 1988 win, ahead of Ireland's Stephen Roach. Then the opening World Cup race, which followed from Milan to San Remo, was won by Gianni Bugno, in record time ahead of Rolf Goltz. Bugno was a surprise winner here, but as the season unfolded, he would become a household name. Over to Belgium, and another Italian win as national champion Moreno Argentin scored in the Tour of Flanders, taking the lead in the World Cup when he beat Rudy Darmans in the sprint. The French opened their classic season with Paris-Roubaix and the most exciting finish ever in the race's long history. It was between Canadian Steve Bauer and Belgium's Eddie Plankett on the left. A millimetre was the official verdict in favour of Plankett after more than 160 miles. A dead heat would have been more honest, because even the camera can occasionally lie. There was no one in sight when Eric Van Lancker came home to win the Liège-Bastogne-Liège Classic in the Belgian Ardennes. Van Lancker isn't a regular winner either, but he certainly picks the best races when he decides to win. 2 World Cup victories then for Peter Post's Panasonic team. In the Amstel Gold Race in Holland, it appeared at first the whole field was fighting it out, but in fact the first 2 riders were being caught right on the line, and Adrie van der Poel was the man to steal a home win after illness had kept him away from the limelight. It was close, and Luc Ruissen made the mistake of preparing for victory instead. So the World Cup has ended for the moment and will resume in Brighton a week after the Tour de France with the Wincanton Classic. And there couldn't be a closer situation. Argentin leads by 1 point over Bugno and 2 points over Darmans. The Tour season began in Spain with Italy still on top, Marco Giovanetti surprisingly beating Pedro Delgado. While in America, Boston turned out in its thousands to welcome Mexican Raul Alcala as winner of the 2nd Tour de Trump, a 10-day race that runs along the East Coast. The Mexican has won twice in America. Now he's looking for the Tour de France. Robert Miller put Scotland on the map in June with a win in the Dauphiné Libéré race, Britain's first win for almost 30 years. And in the Tour of Italy, that man Bugno was at it again, leading from start to finish, to copy Eddy Merckx, who did it in 1973. And to bring us up to date, Sean Kelly, just a week ago, proved he was ready for his final Tour de France with victory in the Tour of Switzerland, only weeks after coming back from injury. And behind Sean Kelly in the Tour of Switzerland, by the way, was Scotland's Robert Miller. He's having his best season since 1984, when indeed he finished 4th in this Tour de France. And we'll certainly see more of Robert as we go down towards the Alps and the Pyrenees. Well, as ever alongside me, Paul Sherwin, veteran of 7 Tours de France. Paul, in that review, we didn't see mention of names like Delgado, LeMond and Fignon. What's gone wrong there?
Well, Delgado maybe should have been mentioned because he was 2nd in the Tour of Spain, but he's a rider who only axes his whole season on the Tour de France, so maybe that's why we haven't spoken about him already. Fidanza tried all through the year. He tried in the Classics. He's tried in some of the other stage races. He fell off in the Tour of Italy, so he's not had a lot of luck, to mention himself. And then Le Monde, well, he had a very hard start to the year. It's difficult when you're the world champion because everybody wants to see you. He had an infection in his chest, but now I think we saw what he did yesterday. He's really come to form at the right time. He's prepared himself specially. He looks fit, and I think yesterday's result proves that he is fit.
Paul, we're not very long away from the start, but very quickly, can you tell me about the tactics we're likely to see this morning from the Castorama rally team?
Well, they'll obviously try and keep the race together because when you've got the yellow jersey in the team, you want to keep it as long as possible. They'd like to go into the team time trial with the yellow jersey this afternoon. But there are a lot of other teams behind who'd like to take the jersey off his shoulders. There are a few sprint bonuses along the stage today, so there could be some of the sprinters who are just behind. Sean Kelly, for instance, could take the yellow jersey for this morning.
All right, well, the course itself is over 138 kilometres. As I say, it's based here from Futuroscope back again. It's a very pretty route, and it goes out around the department of the Vienne.
And the field now rolling out for the real start of the Tour de France, the open countryside that abounds down here south of the Loire Valley. And the happy yellow jersey this morning of Thierry Marie. A little bit surprised, maybe, but he's done it before because, of course, he won the prologue time trial in 1986. And this is a breakaway which has formed, and we're only 6 kilometres into the stage this morning. This breakaway has gone. I think it was Ronan Pensec who started the move on the inside of our picture. This is Claudio Chiappucci, the Carrera rider who rode well in Paris-Nice this year. Frans Maassen is here, winner of the Wincanton Classic in England last year. And the main field not interested at all. Also in that breakaway, I can confirm, in fact, Steve Bauer, and that is why Bob Roll in the centre of our picture is in no hurry at all to take up the chase. Well, this breakaway is absolutely flying. The latest time check now, they are 8 minutes ahead, and Pensec has been given a gift here. The main field have made a terrible mistake, even though it is the first morning of the Tour de France. Steve Bauer too, fourth in this race 2 years ago, a former wearer of the leader's yellow jersey, and he's gone clear. This has been one of those snip little breakaways that you dream of, and Bauer is now going to give it its all. The 7-11 team will be delighted. It's taking all of the pressure away from Andy Hampston because Steve Bauer's up here. So too the same could be said for Greg LeMond because he is on the Z team, and they are without doubt the two most dangerous men in that leading group. Chiappucci, a strong Italian rider with no great victories to his credit, and look at this, the main field are simply not racing. Laurent Fignon, unconcerned, and yet the yellow jersey of Thierry Marie is surely now going away. The wind is absolutely gale force here today, just like it was yesterday for the prologue. They have been forecasting gusts of 60 kilometres an hour. Well, that looked, some riders shot up the inside there. It could well have been Johnny Carlsen, who went from Denmark. But now the field are finding some reaction. So this is Carlsen from Denmark, who's gone clear. As far as we can ascertain, he is something like 6 minutes behind those four leaders. Well, this is mystifying. Nobody has taken up the chase. And the field is stopping. The field is being stopped, in fact, and as far as we know, although the mechanics here think there's been a crash, as far as we know, and one rider is down, it's Delgado. Delgado is down, so there was a crash. The first pileup of the Tour, and Pedro Delgado is one of the men who's come off. The other rider there is Laurent Biondi. But while they sort themselves out, we can go back up towards the end here now. This is the finishing circuit in Futuroscope. And Bauer is on the left of our picture. That's Frans Maassen on the right, Pensec in the centre, Chiappucci out into the moment. Pensec now taking second position here behind Frans Maassen, the former Dutch champion. It's slightly uphill this finish, and Maassen is going to take it. So Frans Maassen wins. Pensec gets second place here. We can see it in slow motion already. Third is Chiappucci, and Bauer is fourth. Johnny Carlsen coming home. And Guido Winterberg is taking sixth place there. This is the main field sprint. And it's Olaf Ludwig who's bringing the whole bunch over the line. But believe me, they are over 10 minutes behind. This is a turn-up for the books today. Here's the result. Frans Maassen confirmed as the winner, but look at the gap. 8 minutes back to Carlsen, and in fact, 10 minutes back to the main field. And that surprising breakaway this morning has done this to the overall classification. Steve Bauer is now the new leader by just 2 seconds ahead of Frans Maassen. Chiappucci is third. Pensec is up into fourth place. And last night's leader, Thierry Marie, he's dropped back to 7th slot, 10 minutes 24 seconds behind. And Greg LeMond, 8th, 10 minutes 28 seconds behind Steve Bauer. That's the overall situation. It's quite a surprise, and Paul Sherwin is now down in the crowd with Steve himself.
Steve Bauer today, very strange race. Only a short race, but it seems to have made quite a big difference already.
Well, I'm happy. I think I was always looking for a breakaway like this in the Tour de France, and in the years past there were breakaways like this. You know, a breakaway from the beginning of the race taking a lot of time, and then you know the break being a bit reduced by the end. But it seems that we've finished with quite a bit of time, and I'm very happy. You know, now we have to look for our team to do a good team time trial, and if we do a good team time trial, I'll be in a place to have the jersey, or I'll be in a good place to get it back.
But it makes a whole difference to the Tour de France now, because to give a rider like you and Romain Pensec such a lead, it's going to be a very different tour in the next few days.
Well, we could see it being a very open tour because of this. You know, riders, you know, trying to get back that time, or you know, with mainly the favorites staying together probably before the time trial on the mountains. But other riders, I think, will try to do the same thing in the week to come.
Will you keep the jersey this afternoon?
We have a good team, and I'm optimistic. I think Buckler, they also have a good team for the team time trial. Carrera also, Zed also. So the 4 riders that were in front, they all have strong teams. So it's difficult to predict who will have the jersey after the team time trial.
Thank you very much.